Okay, good morning. It's at Love Clark. I got some information that's just very disturbing, and the more I think about it, the more it's just criminal for it to be this way. I mean, criminal. It's okay. Let's give you a little story analogy for a second. Let's just say that let's just say there's a new rule. Okay, all of a sudden there's this new rule that you can't roll pebbles into the street from your yard. Okay, you can't roll them across the sidewalk into the street. Okay. But kids play with pebbles and rocks all day, but you just can't. There's this law, you just can't do it. I mean, and everybody uses pebbles and little rocks and plays with little rocks, kids and everything, right? And people use them all day, okay? And it's a popular thing. Let's just say this is the popular thing they do. Now, what happens is the people that are producing the big pile of pebbles, okay, the big breaking up the giant rocks and making pebbles for everyone to play with, they should be getting in trouble for doing what they're doing, by making these pebbles people are getting in trouble with, okay? This big old rocks. They break down into little pebbles. And say, for instance, basically, is it fair? Does it make sense to people, let's say, incarcerate these people that play with the little pebbles all day, and have been caught, but it's a small crime, but repeated times they've been caught, they get the most of the time they go to jail for it, right? Okay. But everybody's already playing with pebbles, and the pebbles are already out in the streets, and they've been distributed by a big rock company, that can't be messed with, and that doesn't do time. It doesn't get caught up in pushing little pebbles, because it pushes all the pebbles. It's the big rock. Okay, so here's the idea. Okay, keep getting and say, is it as the real criminal, or the real person or child that continues to roll the pebbles in the street just like everybody else that's doing it? Okay, the little pebbles in the street. Is it really that important to arrest that person for years and years and years for this little tiny piddly pebble, okay, that they keep at everybody else, and it's already out in the street, it's been rolled out, it's already they're everywhere, the pebbles are all over the streets already, right? Well, that's what I'm thinking about. It's kind of like haven't figured it out. It's the incarceration rates, in this United States. People imprisoned, it's the number one is for little repeat petty drug sales, basically. So what I'm talking about, rolling pebbles, you get it now, right? I mean, the pebbles are already out in the street, and you can guess who provided the pebbles. Yeah, the CIA, the government. So, the big rock, there's the fact that there's the big rock providing it to everybody and then busting them all. But the other fact is, they're making the money without getting in trouble, and every little guy gets in trouble on the street level. And there's already, pebbles they're already, it's not like a person that was peddling pebbles, a person peddling pebbles is doing anything more dangerous than anybody else on the street. Or if you want to compare it to anyone that sells alcohol at a bar or in a grocery store, because people die from drunk driving, you know. So I think the point is that we need decriminalization of, and it does need to be a health issue, because if the majority of people are in there for repeat small amount drug sales, small amounts, but it's repeated, that's criminal. That's criminal. That should be a health issue. And why aren't the guys that manufacture the big rocks in there? You know? Why is it that the little peddly people are in there and the big rock rollers are still rolling the big rocks? Okay? And this is why I wanted to endorse Gary Johnson too, is because, you know, I'm an ex-addict, so I don't have to worry about whether I'm ever caught, because I don't sell, you know, or buy. So I don't have to be ever caught in that kind of situation ever again. But I still, and even though I'm not I'm pro-choice when it comes to, I'm not going to endorse them. I'm not going to deny people want to use whatever, as long as they're not hurting someone else. I don't care really, okay? But the thing is this is hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy, and they really need to have a health issue address on this, because listen, the facts are, the number one consumers and the number one users of drugs in the world is, and illegal and from your doctor, is right here in America. We're the biggest buyers and consumers of drugs in the world. Everybody, if you whether you like it or not, or whether you say, well, I'm not one. Yeah, but your neighbor and that neighbor and the neighbor next door is. So the thing is whether they want to be in denial that they're a drug addict because they get their drugs from their doctor, or their garden, or a dealer, or from the liquor store. You a drug addict, no matter which way you look at it. Alright, if you're denying one of those, and you're saying that's not a drug, then yeah, you are, and you're in denial about it. But here's the whole thing. Why does the little guys get messed with? The little guys, because they don't have the big money. They don't. It's a sad thing that people, and so when I tell you I'm an ex-addict, it's to let you know that I'm not one of these guys that, well, you by golly, you know, one of these straight squares that never tried nothing, never had been around real life drug situations. I can come from an informed mind, and when I come with experience from being a user, okay? So with that experience in mind, and that and this and that, I'm trying to tell you something. I'm not trying to say drugs are good and let them all be legal. I'm not trying to say that. Well, I'm trying to wake people up to the reality of them. They're not going to go away. They haven't gone away. They're not going to go away anytime soon. And the more we spend on a war that gets people killed over drugs, is more money wasted that could have went to education, could have went into rehabilitation, could have went into counseling, and could have went in, and then people that are violent crime offenders and real people that deserve to be in prison, not petty amount repeat offenders, but the people that are producing this stuff, and the guys with the big chunks, they need to be in the prison, not the peddly dealer/users, okay? They need health issue problems, okay? They need dealt with that Because you think these people, when they go to prison, everybody knows this. If you're a regular street level person, you know this. Do you know people that have went to the institution and got out, and they weren't institutionalized, and they came out better? 99% probably are come out worse. They're institutionalized for life, and they know more about crime, and they don't care if they go to jail because they know they can handle it. They don't mind. So it doesn't do anything to reform anyone. Prison does more damage than it does good when it comes to these type of prisoners, because you're not keeping the streets safer. You're not making it. How is it that if that dad or mom got stripped out of a home, regardless of how they made their income? Because there's people that made their income selling drugs and stuff, or illegal activities that don't really necessarily get them caught up in any violence or criminal stuff, or their children even witnessed it. They work when their kids are not at home or such things, you know. So there's some people that don't use drugs that sell drugs. To my point is that sometimes children won't even witness it or be victims of it. But you honestly think that people's lives are better when you took a father or mother out of a home? When it takes, especially if it's mother and a father, you know, it's hard enough. It's hard enough to keep two parents in the home, let alone money flowing in, raising the children, okay? But I think you guys get my point on this. Should people, when they break the law, go to jail? Yes. But let's change the way that we approach what laws dictate the amount of time and what the crime is, and lower these crimes on small things and raise them up on big things. Because when you take a mother or father out of a home, or you put them in jail, incarcerate them, that's the last thing you could do to help that family. It really is the last thing you can do. You might get these good stories where once in a while you get this good story that someone turned around their life and they're glad their son went to prison, you know, got out, and their life was changed, and they were a good father or whatever, son and everything after. That's all great for them, you know, in a fairy tale story. But in reality, that usually doesn't happen. They go worse and worse and worse. So this is hard. It's a very hard topic to discuss and be, you know, because there's so much controversy with it. But I don't want people to think that I'm talking about, oh yeah, feel free, have at anything you want, and drugs. No, I'm not talking about that. What I'm saying is these little guys, the pebbles are already out in the street, and everyone's pretty much already pushed all of them out there. Okay, and they're doing it all day long. And it's just kind of like, it's not justification is what I'm looking for, but it's better judgment. How about that? And what's a real crime and what's a punishment for it should be what's should be decriminalized or lowered to a non-criminal or a non unhealthy mental state or functioning health state. So it should be a health issue on these levels. If you're making millions, or you're making a super income or something like that off of selling drugs or something like that, that's a different. Or you've hurt somebody, that's different, you know. Should be. Then that's criminal. But people have been using drugs, substances since they've learned how to, and they're not going to stop. The war on drugs is a waste. It is a waste. And you think, in your minds, you are so feeble sometimes, or you are so caught in the system, or you want to be truther on everything and anti-government on everything, but when it comes to, because you've got a beef with drugs, your own personal beef with drugs or something, you think, oh, well, you're down for the DEA and the police and the CIA for those reasons, and you're all cool for them, but you don't realize, and one thing you probably won't ever really believe, is that the CIA is the ones bringing the shit in here and allowing it to come in and manufacturing it here. Okay? The CIA has been doing this for a long time. So if you think the war on drugs is real and that they're really trying to stop drugs, they could have stopped it a long time ago and made it a lot harder for drugs to come in and out of this country. You see how they can control whatever the hell they want in this country at the drop of a dime. What comes in and out of this country, at the drop of a dime, they can do it. So if they really wanted to clean up, they would. But it's not that they can't. It's because they're the ones dealing the. They're the big rock holders. Get it now? And they're getting everyone in trouble with these pebbles that they break off for everybody. That everybody's already rolling out into the street anyway. And it's theirs. It's from their shit. Alright? It's that Love Clark. You know I'm crazy? Whatever. Alright? You think I'm nuts? I don't care. Because I know that I'm not. And to a certain degree, maybe I am. So that should tell you. If you do think I'm nuts, that I'm not all the way nuts. Because the people that can recognize they're crazy are the ones who are not as crazy as the ones that think they're not crazy. Alright? Love at love. Love. Ew. I don't like the faces he looks. Satanic. You guys are something else. Anyway. You guys are, a lot of you are judgmental. And wonder if Queenie's watching me. Maybe Rob is out there. Better throw a pebble at them. So they'll go away. Alright, see you later. Alright, see ya.